We got to talk about your boy Luka.
Yeah, there was a moment at the postgame yesterday that got...
By the way, hold on. Before we get to that moment, see him hit his face last night? That looked painful. Danny, I was watching the game, right? But I'm walking around, I'm sweeping the floor, I'm wiping down the counter, stuffing my face, eating, just living my life, right?
I can picture that because there are some people that could sit and lounge.
Yeah, no.
And then there's other people that watch sports while they're straightening up. I feel like I've watched games with Covino, and he's fixing coasters on the table. He's wiping down countertops. Like, you don't sit still.
I'm scrolling on the TikTok. Yeah, I'm multitasking. And I got a text from Danny G. He said, "Hey, did you see Luka hit his face?" And I was like, wait, hold on. So I slid my way back into the kitchen to see the TV by the living room. Oh, wow. Boom, that looked painful, dude. Feel your tooth hit the wood like that?
And then later, he had blood coming from his knee.
Yeah, saw that too.
Yeah, it looked like, by the end of that game, it looked like he had been run over by a dump truck.
Dude.
And he's already got a banged up knee, so, like, Luka needs, like, a week of just laying.
Hit your face on the floor like that? Ooh. That's nasty, man.
It woke him up, though. He started draining shots after that.
No, for sure, but that could have been bad. Looked like it could have been bad. But then, all right, conference time.
Yeah, post-game, Luke is there taking questions, and all of a sudden, you hear something in the background. Take a listen.
Just our sharing the ball and our energy was great.
What do you think? Okay.
Wait a minute, what is that? Well, cut it, Sam. There's a woman moaning. And my first instinct was, there's some reporter, because as you know, reporters now, a lot of people use their iPhone to record at a press conference. It's what they do, let's be honest. It used to be all these microphones and devices, and now a lot of times people say, voice memo, I'll use that. Someone had the hub.
In the biz, we would call it a Marantz. It was a Marantz back in the day.
Yeah, the little handheld portable recorders.
And now it's just the phone. And sometimes, if someone's going above and beyond, maybe they'll put a little microphone attachment to the phone.
Well, I'll just say this. Someone had the hub, I think, open on their phone.
The hub? What does that mean?
Oh, the hub.
Oh, the hub.
Smut was playing. The smut was playing on someone's phone.
But how did it project like that?
That's what I was going to say. It sounded like it was on a Bluetooth speaker.
Let me credit Jason Stewart, producer of the Doug Gottlieb Show. He had a theory that someone had maybe the tube or the hub on their phone open, and they had it like in their ear, and then maybe like the Bluetooth earpiece failed and went to like a speaker somehow. We'll never be able to get the true answer.
You've been next to someone that has had their AirPods in and they die, then all of a sudden their phone starts blaring because the
person dies?
No, the AirPods die. They die. Embarrassment. But yeah, it starts blaring some smut at this press conference. Luka has a little grin on his face, but it got me thinking, in the most terrestrial radio friendly way possible.
Try to keep it PG.
Do you guys have any stories?
Really try to keep it PG.
Do you have any stories where you were caught out there where embarrassing moments happened to you? Like, for instance, when my mom popped in my 49ers Bears Monday Night Football VHS and realized, oh, that's not what it is. Or when my WWF magazine with Macho Man on the cover wasn't really a wrestling magazine.
Oh, yeah.
Do you have those moments? Because I think we all do. And I think last night a reporter got caught out there saying, oh, let me minimize that screen.
Luka's 29 points, 10 rebounds, 7 assists took a back seat to what was that? So let's share some stories. Try to keep it PG.
Yeah, Iowa Sam's gonna get their finger ready on the dump button. Iowa
Sam's got his butt cheeks all clenched up with his finger on the button here. So, of course, there's like universally common ones, I'm sure, because everyone's a creep nowadays in the best way possible. Because if you have kids too, kids always want to mess with your phone, but you always got to do a little history clear before you hand it off. Because that could be embarrassing. And that's never happened to me. I'm just saying, I know, because you have to be on top of those things.
I know I'm guilty, dude, of my wife and I looking up something on my phone, and depending on that first letter of what she wants me to search, I'm like, oh no. Oh no.
Yeah.
Don't tell me to look up pediatricians. Nothing with a P. So I have a story. One of our buddies.
She was looking up Pottery Barn. Something else came up. Like,
is-
whoa. And you know what the worst part about is? Dudes listening will totally understand what I'm talking about. Women, maybe not so much. But sometimes the little icon is there. Sometimes the thumbnail, the tab is like there, like a little app kind of. You ever notice that? And you're like,
I just deleted it
Yeah.
because I was about to show you.
yeah.
Like if you go to search right now, mine
what's
says
that doing there?
mine
I don't
says
need that PH in there.
Southwest.
And it blares
El Pollo
yellow,
Loco,
it's yellow
CNN.
and black, like bam.
Whoa.
It just advertises to whoever picks up your phone, whoever's looking over your shoulder. It's like, here I am, pervert.
So hey, Luka, not him, just someone in the crowd with an awkward moment last night.
I've heard stories, and again, to open up the conversation, no worries, guys. Nobody knows. It's between us.
Yeah.
877-99 on Fox, 877-99 on Fox, at Covino and Rich. There has been stories. We've been doing this show a long time.
Yeah.
Rich, you'll remember the story of one of our listeners was, being a little freaky deaky on his phone, but didn't realize his phone was connected to the Bluetooth in the basement.
It's our buddy Babchick.
Oh, yeah, that's what it was.
If you have Sirius XM, my buddy Mike Babchick from Mad Dog Radio,
Formerly of the Morning Men. Now he's on a different show, still doing sports.
our buddy Babchick, he dipped away like a creepo, and apparently his whole story was that he's like, why is the volume not working?
Oh,
Something's wrong with my
it
phone.
was
The
working.
the volume's not working. Then his wife busts in wherever he is, and she's like, you son of a... And the kids are like... Whatever he was playing, let's just say it was going through the Bluetooth on the whole house.
And kids were probably like, what's going on? Their Blues Clues was interrupted with smut.
And you, by the way, Dan Byer, you know Babchick because he worked with
Yeah.
our mutual friend, Evan Cohen, for years.
Yes, absolutely. That is typical Babs.
But that's some
Bab's
mortifying.
I don't even
behavior.
know if it'd make the medal stand, but yeah, that's with all the stuff he's done.
So embarrassing. That's actually a really great reminder. Like, make sure your Bluetooth is off because you never know what you're connected to, and that embarrassing situation could happen. Here's one that has happened, and I'm not trying to play some righteous sort of thing, but this had to do with like a link someone sent me. Sometimes someone sends you a link and your phone is just on that link or whatever. I remember I got into my car and my car was connected to the Bluetooth, and I think I'm playing some music, and all of a sudden you're hearing like dirty things, and your kid looks at you like, what was that?
Yeah, well, that's like a prank people play.
Yeah.
Like all of a sudden you'll be like, hey, do you hear this word or that word? So you turn it up real loud. You're like, oh, what am I supposed to be hearing? And it's just like a woman moaning or something.
Yeah.
You're like,
That's not Godsmack. That's someone smacking some ass cheeks. So, that's
Godsmack.
embarrassing too. So always make sure of the Bluetooth because you'll get in the car and it's automatically connected and that embarrassment ensues.
I'll tell you, let me give you a warning. And again, this is Fox Sports Radio. I'm assuming.
Hey, dude, it happened
I'm-
at the press
But what I'm
conference.
saying, I'm not assuming everyone's, some perv, but we all do our thing. We're all grown-ups. And I was saying, if you want to play it one more time to tie it into sports so we're not just sounding like a bunch of creepos, last night, post-game, after a big win, Luka's at the podium. This is serious business. And all of a sudden, you hear this.
Just our sharing the ball and our energy was great.
What do you think?
I'm sorry, what is that?
Hold on. Do we have confirmation that it's not actual people?
Oh, like a celebratory...
Like maybe
Like someone's
Echo.
like someone's
it sounded
wife.
like it's in the background, like a hallway.
Yeah,
Well,
like
maybe someone's wife, a
echoes.
little celebration after the game came in. Who knows?
Okay, two things, and you should not do in public. You shouldn't do that, and you shouldn't have your smut on your phone, like up and ready to play.
Right.
Yeah.
You're
No,
at
no, no,
work.
but how do we know? We're assuming it's some sort of Bluetooth misconnection or
Who
something
knows?
like that. Who's to say that it's not a live mic? Like someone's mic'd up and got
Shouldn't
some
have that
locker
happen.
room action real quick or something.
It's possible. Yes,
There are people around.
I don't know,
It's-
man.
it's
I've heard some
possible.
crazy stories.
Well, let me give everyone a quick tip because
I'll say-
this could happen to anyone. Nothing bad happened in my story, but it happens all the time. I'll be driving my daughter to school in the morning.
yeah.
Start up the car, get it a little warmed up. I know we're in California. How warm do you need a car? But I get in the car, and sometimes my wife will be in the house, but all of a sudden I start hearing an audiobook or whatever she's listening to in the house.
Yeah.
So if you're in the house and you're like, oh, wife just left,
She could be
Take a
listening to
beat.
some smut tales, yeah.
take a second. Don't disconnect your Bluetooth. Warning, warning. That's it. We're going to get to other stuff, but clearly the phones, there's not an open line, which means
Everybody has a story.
You get it. We'll start with Bob in Idaho. Bob, keep it clean. Don't make I was Sam dump anything. What's up, Bob? Line 1, Danny.
877-99 on Fox at Covino and Rich. Let's talk to Bob.
Hey, Bob.
Hey, guys. So it was my son, and this is what happened. He was watching something on his phone in his room and decided to cast it to his TV. But he cast it to the living room TV.
Oh! That's, you got, like, there's so many layers there. Like, then you're like, well, what is my son watching? Oh, that's creepy, weird. Oh, Bob, that's a good one. Be careful casting.
You know what?
Yeah. All right, let's go to Rob in Penn. Rob, you're on with Covino and Rich. Keep it clean.
By the way, that's just another great reminder to, before you cast, make sure you're casting to the right one. Have them all named properly.
True.
What's up, man?
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey.
Hey, so a little teachable moment here for parents out there. I have 2 sons, and back in the days of the PSP, the mobile little PlayStation device, I found my oldest son exploring some things, and we had to learn about erasing search history and that things of that nature. And then my younger son, this is probably a couple of years back. He's now 14, but again, same type of situation where, like, I picked up his phone and there were some things on there that he probably wouldn't let his mother see.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, it bothers me because...
Let me ask you a parental question.
We had to work when we were like teenagers, we had to work hard to see something so minuscule, and it seemed appropriate. Kids have access to too much. It is a problem.
Are you kidding me? We had to use our imaginations with the blurry channels. You know what I'm talking about, those scrambled blurry channels?
Yeah,
I think I see something.
What is that?
You would have a method just to see a few seconds of something juicy.
Yeah.
Now, Rich, as a parent, you have a son.
Yeah.
Sons are the biggest creeps of all. We know that. They hit a point and things get crazy.
That bothers my wife, by the way, so much. Our son is only 4, but
Right.
the thought, I was like, in 10 years when he's like going through puberty, my wife dreads that. I'm like, babe, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
He's going to be a teenage boy. And she's like, no.
So let's say you have an experience like that, like our caller, and you see that your son is up to no good, but you know as a man that that's just part of life, right? Doesn't make
It's
him a
natural.
bad
It's
kid.
natural.
Oh, he's growing up. All right. Do you share that with your wife, or do you keep it to yourself and give him the warning, like the father to son, like, hey, listen, buddy?
I think that's mom doesn't want to see you looking at this
Right.
fun. I'm your dad. I get it. Be careful. Don't be a dummy. Do you want your mother seeing you doing this? I'm your dad. I get it. Don't let mom see. That's the talk you give, I think.
Dude, I had a close call one time. You just made me think of something else. And this is the truth. I worked with this guy who just recently passed away. Rest in peace. But he was a major pervert. Like, major pervert, right?
The late, great Crazy Cabbie.
Oh, I don't want to
From the
throw
Howard
his name
Stern
out
show.
there, you bozo.
He was known for loving that stuff.
Anyway, he's like,
It
hey.
rhymes with Crazy Cat.
Yeah.
Hey, Covino, I got this box of it's just a bunch of porn, and I got all this stuff in there. You mind if we
Jeez.
put it in your trunk?
Well, because
Right?
keep in mind,
Can we
Covino
get
worked
radio freebies.
Keep in mind, Danny G. Covino worked at K-Rock with Howard Stern for years, so
Right.
there'd be like trashy stuff all over the studio.
Right.
Like, hey, take it home. Like that worked.
Right. He's like, keep it in your trunk. I goes, we'll keep it later, you know. We'll divvy it up. I'm like, whatever, dude. All right. So I threw it in my trunk, and for whatever reason, I was still living at home, and my car, my mom, I don't know what it was, bro, but for some reason, my mom used my car to get groceries, which she never did. And she was with my dad or something like that. And I had to call my dad, and I was like, yo, Dad, I'm sorry, but there's some smutty stuff in my trunk, and you can't let mom open that up. You just can't.
That's
I'm
funny.
done. And I think he was like, took care of it. Like, yeah, don't worry about it.
It's a good bonding moment.
It was a close call because my mom would have had a heart attack that day. This conversation today would have been the day my mom opened that trunk, she died.
That would have been the day.
Because she had a massive heart attack. So I think you got to cover for your kids sometimes.
Tony in Oregon. What's up, Tone?
What up, Tony?
Hey, guys. Hey, I don't know. I learned a long time ago to search incognito. My wife was sitting around and kept mumbling like, gosh, if I could only find a hub or maybe I need a tube. I'm like,
she's
start
private-
putting it together.
Private browser, man. You know,
Private.
there's a funny ass meme of some kid with like a mischievous looking grin on his face, and he's in front of this old school like Gateway computer or Compaq, and it's like, here's me in the late 90s just adding viruses to the family computer. Anytime there was a virus to the family computer, the teenage kid in the house was responsible for it.
Do you know, Danny, I'll give you one more quickie, then we'll wrap this up. But we'll get to the NBA. But this is a fun story. Luka, press conference, smuts being played in the background. I was away at college. My mother calls me up, all like upset. Richie, yeah, Mom, what's going on? You okay? Is everyone fine? Our home computer, I had to call the Geek Squad. I'm like, the Geek Squad. Remember like Best Buy, they'd send like some nerd
They
to
still
your
have
house?
that. They still
have that.
service, yeah.
Yeah, but they'd send like a nerd
In
to your
fact,
house.
that's what we call your high school friends when you're not around.
Oh, yeah, the Geek Squad. Yeah.
Rich went to New Jersey to see the Geek Squad.
So I'm like, Mom, what's wrong? She goes, I had to call the Geek Squad from Best Buy to fix our computer. Would you believe what your brother's looking at? I'm like, oh no. And I had to call my brother and be like, you idiot.
And here's the weakest part of that story is like our parents' generation, they don't really know how things work. So whatever his brother watched, his mom till this day thinks he has a fetish for that.
No, my
Meanwhile,
mom,
it was
mom
just-
said to me, your brother's into delivery people? I'm like,
It's like probably not. It's probably just what came up.
Yeah.
But that's what she assumes.
your brother's kinky for weird delivery stuff.
Anytime the brother suggests takeout, Rich's mom gets all upset about it.
Tony in Oregon. What's up, Tone? Tony.
Jeff in West Virginia.
Oh, let's go to Jeff in West Virginia. Hey, Jeff.
Hey guys, thanks for the laughs.
No problem.
I'm gonna go way back. This has to one go with technology because all this segment has to do with just hiding evidence.
Yeah.
But as a teenager, I was sort of active. I wasn't great, but whatever. But we owned a little 3-bedroom house with a crawl space that was about 3 feet deep. Nobody ever went in there. I had some trash of certain wrappers that I should have thrown away. They were in a shoebox, tucked them in a move when my parents, now years later, I walked in with my parents who are in that crawl space digging out stuff that I never would have thought. It was like the Addams family down there in that basement. There was no reason for them to be down there. But like 3 or 4 years later, my dad's pulling out the shoebox with some trash I should have disposed of that had a label written Trojans on it. And they look at me and I was just like,
Sorry?
oh my God,
You should have wrote, do not touch.
Oh, thank you, Tony.
Put your name on
Thank
it.
you, Jeff. I mean.